you do bone grafting, you use Bio Oss. Kind of like that, and it has continued, right? So, I mean, I'm familiar with this product since 1994. I am Jose Arruz. I'm a board certified periodontist. Since I was basically educated from the very beginning on Bio Oss, I knew how successful it was and predictable, and the quality control that it had. And if you have human histology as proof of bone graft material forming bone, I think is the ultimate proof of principle. You have what you're looking for in terms of a osteoconductive material for bone formation. But what we have seen histologically after many years, for all the studies that have been conducted, the bone formation and the volume of bone formation, or augmented with the procedures, remains. So if we could get a bone graft material that could aid the human body in forming bone, in maintaining that same volume of bone that was formed at the time that we place the implant, and that bone is preserved, then the likelihood of having any complications with the bone support around the implant, or any issues with bone loss that could lead to peri-implantitis and then losing an implant, right? That is, I think it's one of the biggest benefits that I have seen with Bio Oss, is the dimensional stability in maintaining the volume of the grafted bone. We have found out that there are certain cases where we have used other brands of xenograft, and we have had mixed results, or not as good results as with Bio Oss, and we just basically went back to using Bio Oss because we know what to expect with the quality. Those products do not have the track record and the scientific evidence, specifically talking about human histology, which is what Bio Oss has the most of any other product, over 1,000 publications. I mean, this is very much proven. We have to take into account the cost of complications. When we do not get the result that we were expecting, then we have to redo, and that also represents a significant cost. So I think that as a clinician, we should continue to choose the biological products, right? In this case, biomaterials that have the scientific track record. We've been talking about Bio Oss, which is a xenograft, but there are also the allografts, right? That they present both as demineralized, right, or mineralized, the freeze-dried bone allograft. For the most part, I have been using freeze-dried bone allograft, and it has given me very good results. It depends on the application of what we are trying to accomplish with the procedure that I choose when to use a xenograft, or when to use an allograft, or when it is the best application to use them combined. Each material has its own properties and how it influences bone healing. When we get to see that the research repeats in our clinical practices the same way that it repeats in the hands of other clinicians all over the world that are doing this research, it's proof that the product is really what it represents. It gives you that sense of satisfaction that whatever the goal of the procedure and treatment are set to be, then you're able to accomplish them, right? And I think that is one of the things that with Bio Oss is really gratifying, that you minimize complications and maximize outcomes.